Hello and welcome to the Tech Tips webinar series presented by the U.S. Small Business Administration and Microsoft. I'm Adalberto Quijada, Director of the SBA's Santa Ana District Office. The SBA's simple but important mission is to help people start and grow businesses that create jobs and power our economy forward. We do this by providing billions of dollars in access to capital, working to ensure small businesses earn their fair share of federal contracts, and by funding a nationwide network of mentors and experts in every field of business. To find your local resources, please visit sba.gov. Small business owners need to understand the importance of technology in running profitable and efficient ventures. That's why I am very pleased my office led the effort to establish this partnership with Microsoft as we present a series of webinars to help you utilize technology in running and growing your business. We're proud to inform, educate, and connect entrepreneurs, and we thank you for viewing today's webinar.
Good afternoon. This is Sherman Krancer with Microsoft. Thank you so much for joining us today. With Microsoft and the Small Business Administration in conjunction, we're going to be presenting tech tips for the small business. Today, we're covering the power of business intelligence, and many of you don't understand really what business intelligence is, and really that really applies to a lot of the small to medium-sized businesses out there, because this particular technology was really formed several years ago, but it was only really available to very large companies who had very large amounts of data. However, today we are seeing an explosion of need for business intelligence, and really kind of what that means is understanding the data that's coming in. And small to medium-sized businesses are really taking advantage of being able to analyze data, all different types of data, to help them become more competitive and more alert to what's going on to increase their sales and revenue. So once again, my name is Sherman Krancer. I'm the Partner Channel Development Manager for the Western United States, and I'm really proud to be here today. It's really an honor and a pleasure to be here to help moderate this discussion, with the SBA and one of our endorsed Microsoft partners. Today on the agenda, we're actually going to be doing a discussion tour through business intelligence and solutions. So we'll first talk about the data explosion and really what that means. We've seen a big change in the way that we are communicating with mobility, and a big change with all different types of data with Internet of Things. You've been seeing that around a lot. And so we'll be talking about the data explosion and what that means. Then we're going to talk about the challenges of this type of data, and what does it really mean to a business owner, and how are they going to utilize this to become experts, right? And then lastly, we're going to talk about the solution, which will help you and the small to medium-sized business owner understand how they can implement something for them to increase revenues, increase sales, reduce operating costs, reduce technology costs, that and the like. So what I'd like to do first is introduce our guest. Our guest is a very good dear friend of mine. I've known him for quite a long time, and really I would say he's a genius when it comes to creating IP and creating software that would help small to medium-sized businesses utilizing power business intelligence. And his name is Manish Bardia. Manish, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself before we get into this?
Sure, Sherman. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you to SBA as well and Microsoft. I'm a partner with Adaptech Consulting. We are right here in Southern California. We focus on small to medium-sized business and provide them consulting on improving productivity. So essentially, this topic is very dear to me. As a business, we also implement collaboration software like Office 365, SharePoint, and data productivity software like Powerbi. So that actually does connect with our topic for today, which is use of business intelligence to increase sales and productivity.
Great. Well, the first thing that we should probably get into is really, what is business intelligence? What is it, and what are the challenges that the small to medium-sized business actually sees. Manish, why don't you go ahead and take us through that, the definition and whatnot.
Sure, Sharman. With a very basic definition, if you look at business intelligence, it's the use of your own internal data within the company or combining that data with externally available, whether it's a free data from city, federal, or you're buying from a cloud provider. So use of the data for making intelligent decisions will be the definition of business intelligence. And let me just take an example so that it's clear exactly how companies are using business intelligence, right? So let's take an example of any long weekend, for example, Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend, right? So what happens is you see more foot traffic in the malls. So a retail giant did a study on, should we hire more salespeople because now we are gonna have more foot traffic. Now I'm not talking about Black Friday or the Christmas sale, but in the normal long weekend, the trend was reverse. Because people expected more traffic in the mall, they actually stayed home for the shopping. Yes, they were in the mall for enjoying the environment or be with friends and family, but they were not buying things. So the company was able to make a decision with the data they had internal to their store and with the foot traffic data to make sure that they don't invest on extra salespeople and invest more time on the online marketing, that kind of thing. So that was an example of use of BI to improve sales productivity. Now coming to challenges, because there is a lot of data, that is the biggest challenges where people are unable to utilize the vast majority of data. So that's their biggest challenge. In addition, there are other challenges like the tools are new tools. So they are having lack of skills and knowledge to make sure that they can effectively use the tools. That is one. Individuals are using more and more connected devices, so there is a challenge of bringing everything together. So in fact, the next point about integration with existing tool also comes into the same point where multiple sources of systems have data. How do you bring it together? So that's a challenge. And in addition, once you are able to bring it together, how do you make it secure? Because now your whole data or all the data, key data, is in one place. How do you make sure only...
No audio? Do we have any audio?
How do you have only the right data for right people in the right time?
Great. Well, I think let's go back to the challenges just real quick. So, I think what you explained was really, really important, if you take a look at like the polling and it's really, people are really interested in it, right, Manish? They're really interested in it, but they understand that they have, the lack of skills and knowledge to put it all together, yeah. Right? And, there's a lack of existing tools that tie all the different data together, right? Okay. And then, lastly, I think one of the main points here is security and manageability that's really important to go ahead and talk about really is around being able to secure data because there's different types of data being pulled from different parts of a corporate environment. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I think, you mentioned, and I'll let you cover this, Manish.
Yeah. So this is very interesting that on average, the research has been done. The statistics shows that if the company has 100% of the data, it's only 5% is being utilized. So you can see the big opportunity there for the businesses because if they can get to the utilization of 25% or the 50% of the data, they can have real advantage over their competition. So this is a really good slide. I like it. And you can see that there is a big opportunity in the business intelligence world to utilize your own data or the data available in the market. So coming to the next point where why data is a challenge. Of course, we have heard about data explosion. So the problem with that is more and more data is coming in online. So let me take you 30 years back and show you what happened with the data and why do we see this much of data explosion, right? So if you talk about 1985, most of the data was analog. If you talk about books, music, so the book was all physical books. the music was all in gramophone, and then 15 years later, if you talk in 2000, the internet started happening. So you can see some digitization of the data, so some CD and the books started to become e-books. Music started to go on the digital world like CD, DVDs, and Blu-rays. And PC evaluation was happening, internet was coming, so that's where the data started to get onto the cloud or the servers. So now you can relate the data with each other. So the data also got connected. So it was not just one type of data sitting in silos. Actually, it's got connected, and you could make reference to other data and use the intelligence. And then starting from 2005 to now, you have more explosion in cloud. People are more adapting the cloud technologies. They are more on the smartphones, on the PC. So you can see more and more digital data coming, and actually very less analog data is existing. In fact, most of the analog data is now available in digital as well. So, and half of the data is connected. So in future, this is gonna keep going, and you will see the data explosion, and the data is so much that it's virtually impossible to wrap our mind around.
So, just to, just kind of interject here, just a point of reference here. We have a Q&A section that's open right now. So if you have any questions about this, please go ahead and type it in, and we'll go ahead and answer those when they come up. I think just to put a little bit more in perspective, if you go back to the connected data, that what types of data, let's, and you're talking about it, right? It was, CRM data, customer relationship management data, Excel data, sales data, revenue data, all these different types of data.
Yeah, if you talk about within the company, the data is residing on many levels. So most of all, the data is in files. So if you're talking about the numbers, the data is in Excel. If you talk about CRM system, it's in CRM. If you talk about inventory management, then all the data regarding sales and tracking the invoices is all in the inventory system. So that's where it is living in different silos, and that is one of the challenge people are having. But this could be connected data also.
Okay, so with that, to kind of extrapolate that, being able to have a handle on all of the data and being able to see it, let's say, in one place, as opposed to, I've got to call my finance department, I got to call my operations, I got to call my marketing, I've got to have a meeting with a meeting with a meeting with a meeting about different parts of data, but there's really, in the past, only big companies had the ability to coalesce that data. Is that correct? Would you say?
Yeah, in the past, this was only available to bigger companies because they had the department and number of people working towards just creating this report and massaging data, bringing it together for the business users.
Okay.
And a small business, medium-sized business could not afford to do that.
Yeah, they couldn't afford it, and that's really what the idea of Power BI or business intelligence is being able to have all of that data at your fingertips and be able to forecast against that data. Being able to open up a mobile device in the morning and be like, wow, okay, what happened in sales? What happened in marketing? What happened in all these different ideas? All right, I didn't mean to interject there. But let's get back to the last slide that you were talking about. Data is going to double.
Yes, so now the data is actually getting created day by day, and the data is coming so much that it's doubling every year. And just to give you a picture of the data, now they say by 2020 you will have 40 zettabyte of data, and 1 zettabyte is equal to little more than the total grains of sand available in all the beaches. And they're talking 40 zettabytes, so that's like 57 times of amount of all grains of sand in all the beaches in the world. So this is the data which is available for anybody. Of course, we don't want to use all the data, but just gives you a picture that this is what is going to be available by 2020.
Wow, that is Amazing. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we kind of just take a step back and kind of go into the evolution of BI, so we can show, what like the big corporate companies were doing and how the IT pro who was in there, formulated it for them, and then we'll talk about the different steps.
Yeah. So if I take you back on what was happening, what is still happening in a couple of the companies, is that IT team is there, and they have the responsibility of handling all the systems, CRM, databases, inventory management, ERP. It's under their control. So they have line of business applications, and then they have the databases. They keep it together, called data marts, and they also have the files floating around, which also provides key information to the business users. So they need to bring all this together, which is existing data, and then make sure that it all goes through a quality process called extraction, transformation, language, and make sure that, let me just stop there. So this is all coming together, and they are making sure they are creating the cubes or the data warehouse, which is a single truth of data for that organization. So now that IT has handle of all the data, they are managing it. Now they can create the reports and provide these reports to the business users. So you can see the 3 to 6 month process going on for single report. And that's a challenge, because small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and even large businesses now don't have that much time. Things are moving so fast that they need more control on the data, right? So what has happened is Excel has become one of the major tools to create the reports. In fact, there are some niche startups who are creating data directly from the sources. And startups are like Click or Tableau. These are just the startups who are focusing on the visualization piece. And they are breaking the barrier and providing the direct access to the data to the business users. So you don't need this left side of the picture where IT pro is controlling all the process, but you can directly get the result in the hand of the business users.
So, with that on the left-hand side, on the corporate BI, those are companies like SAP and Oracle, and big organizations like
IBM.
that. And IBM, excuse me. And the cost of having that type of system to be able to aggregate and put it all together, to be frank with you, doesn't apply to the small to medium-sized business market. It's just too much. And that's the other reason why. And what's happening, these business users, were taking the 6 months, just like Manish was talking about, getting their information. But now they're saying, well, no, I need to get it faster. Well, I've got a spreadsheet, and within my spreadsheet, I'm going to go ahead and pull this data, and then actually, I'm going to go ahead and call the Tableaus, the different organizations out there that have this niche. There's like a niche startup, doing BI. However, it's still expensive for SMB, but they're grabbing that information. But the problem though, okay, now small to medium-sized business doesn't always mean micro business. It also means businesses that are 20 employees, 60 employees, 100 employees, 500 employees. And the problem with using self-service BI just by itself is that you have a security issue, right? Because now all of your data points are being actually taken away by your current users, and that's a frustration within your IT department, because they want to make sure that the data that is being procured and processed is secure. So really, what happens? So the barrier's been broken. There's a lot of startups. There's confusion in the market, but here at Microsoft, we've kind of figured out a way to satisfy both the corporate and the self-service BI, as well as streaming data, and that's being able to grab data from all different points. So why don't you kind of go into, Manish, the lack of access to data and how that impacts sales and productivity? Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, if you have lack of access to the data which you already have within organization, or you are combining that, if you're not combining that data with externally available data, then it is directly impacting sales and productivity. In fact, I have a good example coming up, and I'm going to cover a little bit on that. But what other businesses are doing is that they are embracing this change of data and making sure that
they are able to combine the data within their organization and making this a central strategy to outperform their competition. And that is what we want to highlight a little bit here, is that data can be a key differentiator for your organization.
Yeah, I think that's a super powerful slide, because really what it is SMB. You're finding a lot of the small to medium-sized business out there really embracing this idea of Power BI and embracing the idea of taking this information and finding out, okay, if I have 100 people coming in on a 3-day Labor Day weekend, how do I set up my my office, or excuse me, the rows of sales and goods? How do I set it up that I can maximize my profit? However, their competitors are not doing that. So they're different companies are using, well, how many sales leads are coming in at a specific time, or how many marketing dollars are spent in this particular time, but it's using that data all combined into one and using that to really get ahead of their competitors. And that's why this is so important. Using business intelligence in any way is really, really important, because you basically operationalize your internal workings of your business to reduce and trim the fat, trim the costs. And the last thing I'll say to this, because I know I might be going on and on, but imagine you're a retail store and you're over ordering, right? But you're not looking at the trends. And I think in retail, one of the key drivers to profitability is ensuring that you have the right amount of stock at the right amount of time. You don't want to be running out of stock or having too much stock. And the power of business intelligence basically takes a look at sales. You can take a look at sales over the past 24 months and figure out, okay, where are the key indicators right here, and this is what I'm going to do and apply that to that. So that's really what embracing the data and transforming the business really is. So if we move on, really it comes down to, so how are the businesses using data as a key strategic business asset? Manish, would you kind of answer that for us?
Yeah, exactly. And in add to that, what can business do? What an individual company can do to stay ahead of a competition, right? So I'm going to take you to the example, and I'm going to relate exactly this slide with one of my customers' example. And so essentially, companies are looking at their data and coming up with the tools so that they can make decisions and actually take actions. So tools are there, and there are different steps to perform. The very first thing is they are trying to understand what has happened in the past. So this is historical data we are talking. And in common terms, if I say these are the reports which you are generating on the Excel, or you are having somebody create these reports. So you are trying to find information on the people who are working in the business, or you are trying to find intelligence. To take an example, one of my customer was a travel desk agency, and they have a lot of clients, and a lot of clients of my customers are using the travel desk service. And my customer was trying to understand exactly how these customers are ordering the tickets. Is it getting done online more, or is it getting done on the phone? And they were looking always on the historical data in the forms of Excel. So there was a lot of rows and numbers, and they knew some numbers, and they were looking at the key numbers, and they had a good idea of what is happening in different branches. But what they didn't have was the second step. Let me go to second step and I'll relate. So they had the reports, and in the second step, it is nothing but compilation of multiple reports into a dashboard. So you have one single picture of the dashboard where you can see the key performance indicators, a couple of charts, and then drill down to more informative data. And that's what customer was trying to go. An interesting thing happened. When they got the dashboard, within 2 hours, they were making key decisions. An example is this. They knew that they have some key strategic partnership with a couple of airlines, and they always wanted to book the flights first through those airlines because their margins were more. And they also wanted to make sure that their clients are using online tools more than phone calls, because online tools were cheaper for their clients. And when the chart came up, one of the airlines stood out where they were having a lot of ticket books and they were not having primary relationship with them. So they were losing money. And similarly, they found out that a couple of their customers are very heavy callers. So that becomes a training issue for their employee, that you should first use the online tool and save money to the company rather than just pick up a phone call and save time 2 minutes and lose money in the long run, that kind of thing. So that's the second thing. As soon as the company went from the reports on what happened to why did it happen, they were able to make decisions. And now they are using that key decisions, taking it and then saving money for their client and for their company, and becoming more competitive. Now, so these are the two levels. One is the report, second is the dashboard. Now there is third level also, where actually you are predicting. Now this is a little bit advanced, I would say. If you already have dashboard, then you will go to this level of predicting why it will happen or what will happen, and then you will take decision. But I would say if you don't have dashboard, then get to the dashboard level first, and that is what we are covering in this session today. But let me just tell you a little bit on number 3 is that now you're predicting that, hey, there is a big chance of holiday coming, and then, there is a holiday around the corner, so let's be proactive and ask our customer to book online before they start calling. So that is the kind of thing system can predict and tell you the decisions, and then you take the action. Now the final one is, what should I do? So now you have the prediction going on, and actually the system is so much automatic now that it will start recommending and actually start putting the task in your employee task list and all that thing. So this is much like prescriptive. So it's providing the prescription for the success. Little bit more advanced in future, we will cover that, but that's what the companies are doing.
On the what will happen, the number 3 thing, I think it's really good to note that one of the most amazing things about the power of business intelligence and Power BI is using machine learning. So I don't know if you know about machine learning, but if you don't know about it, it's basically artificial intelligence, and it's using machine learning algorithms. So these are algorithms that we create, we install it in the Power BI, and you can utilize those algorithms to take your data that's coming in, that is on the dashboard, and actually predict against it 6 to 12 months out. And why that's powerful is, imagine if you have a company that has sales, marketing, operations, finance, and each organization or each line of part of your business reports to you, right? Well, what happens if finance has a big write-down, right? But now you put that into your CRM system, it attaches to your BI, and boom, the different levels change according to the predictability analysis. If you have a big sale that comes in, now all the numbers change. Because it's going to be a different outcome for 6 months, and what machine learning in the environment, artificial intelligence, basically is able to take a look at your past results, compare them, look at them, analyze them, and then if within any input into your data streams that are coming in, let's say you have an influx of leads, right? An abnormal influx of leads. Well, then it'll change the forecast for sales. Which is just an amazing piece of it. So that's what really the part number 3, what Manish was talking about, and then that helps you really ultimately with part number 4, right? Is having that type of information at your fingertips. Perfect.
And so let me take you to an example of a customer who is trying to understand how to increase sales and improve productivity, right? So they are trying to find how to keep the best customers and increase more of that, and then so that way they can focus on the right kind of opportunity, close much better deals. So basically they may have the data, but the challenge always is, are they getting the data in the right hand in the right time so that their salespeople can make decisions and answer these questions? So company is trying to answer, do we know our customers? Who are our best customers, and are we focusing on the right opportunities? So instead of having a pipeline of 100 opportunity and not focusing on top 20, they might be focusing on everybody. So if they can qualify those top 20, then they can be focusing on those right opportunity. And then instead of spending time on the routine task, then they can spend more time with customer, build relationship, and also how can we engage with customers to improve the win ratio, right? So now if they embrace the data transformation concept and think data can be transformation, create transformation in their business and provide them edge, then they can create right kind of tools and get a complete 360-degree view of customers to find out who are the better customers or who are the customer who are not creating a lot of revenue for them. Then they can have the dashboard to show what are the right kind of opportunities to focus on, so their sales team can be really productive by working on the right opportunity. And then also they can help their service team by providing the right kind of connections, and then that way they are automating the routine task or providing FAQs and connecting with clients more.
So I think that's, we all small, medium-sized businesses have a list of customers, right? But you probably run into several situations where you look at a list of 100 customers, but maybe only 30 of them are like repeat buyers. And I mean, and being able to find that data, right? Find which ones are buying what at what time, and then being able to create sales and marketing programs for them would probably be a great idea, and that's kind of what you do, right, Manish, with BI, is really to help organizations find that data that will be pertinent to help them increase or reduce overall costs, right?
Yes, and one of the exercises we do is exactly with the data, right? So are they using existing data to create the reports? And reports is the first level, right? We talked about that. The first level is report, and the next level is dashboard. So right now the tools are available, and the challenges for the customers are having the right tools and skills. So that's what we provide, where we are able to come and consult with them and say, okay, do you have the right kind of reports coming, so that you're not wasting time but being productive by looking at the reports and taking right action. And the next step is, do you have dashboard? So that's what we are helping the customers with.
All right, so companies are using BI now, right? And we know that. We know with the large companies like we mentioned, the SAPs and Oracles and IBMs of the world, and we know of the niche startups, they're doing that. So within the environment of using BI now, what are the challenges that you see with using that data or securing that data, or what? Please help us understand that, Manish.
Yeah, so we have covered a couple of challenges, but in summary, these are the three top challenges. Having end-to-end view for all the data available within the companies. So if they are multi-location office environment or multiple systems involved, having end-to-end view of their whole data is the biggest challenge. And then, as I told, having multiple data sources. So with the cloud, what has happened is it has become very easy to have a solution come to the company very quickly. So you can have a CRM running on Salesforce, or your 365 environment is running your documents and it's collecting all the Excel data. You have SharePoint to capture some tracking. Then you have your marketing getting done on Marketo or Dynamics Online. So there are multiple tools. How do you bring it together? That is the challenge. Then, as we talked, and I'm reiterating that, once you bring it together, comes the issue of data security. Are you having the tools to restrict the access to only right people, so that you are not hindering the progress, but then at the same time you are keeping the data confidential, which the data should be confidential I mean, certain data should be confidential, like finance data. Are you able to keep it within only CXOs and finance department? So that is a challenge most other companies are having. However, there are solutions now, and now we are coming into the solution piece where the challenges we have talked a lot, like how do you have 360-degree view, how do you combine all the data sources, and how do you keep it secure? And that's where I want to just reiterate what we already talked, and that is the tools have matured, the industry, technology industry is matured, business intelligence industry is matured now. In the past, the first wave was technical BI. If you didn't have technical people, you couldn't get the reports or the dashboard. You couldn't get all the data to come together. But in the second wave, the business users became smart, that they started using Excel or some niche startup tool to bring the data onto their hands. So business users started doing the reports, but then they were limited by other factors like how do you bring all data together, who is responsible for it, all that kind of thing. But now the good news is, in the third wave of end user BI, the power is in the hands of business users. Power is in the hands of small businesses and medium-sized businesses who want to get to the BI and start making right decisions quickly. So that's where we are going to talk about the latest tool.
All right. So, getting into, before we get into, just Power BI by itself, we have to once again reiterate, that there are other companies out there that are providing this, like the IBMs, the SAP, and the Oracles. However, they're probably just too expensive for SMB. Then you have the niche startups that are out there, the Tableaus and whatnot, but they cost a significant amount of money. So the best way to understand how, these challenges and how these things that we've talked about is kind of understand some of the features that would come in a typical business intelligence platform. We have more than others and some less areas in less functionality. However, it's good to kind of just show it up and show it to the audience. If you are currently using Office 365 Enterprise Edition, you actually get this as part of your subscription, so it's free. So it's good that we just kind of bring it out there and show you what can be done. So why don't we go into Power BI? That's what we call our product, and I'll let Manish kind of start off with the experience and why the way we're thinking about it might be a good idea.
Yeah, sure. So Power BI, the best part on the Power BI is it's a cloud business intelligence tool. So really, you don't need any server, and you can view your data on any device and anywhere. So because it's a cloud product, it's really available whether you are in client side, whether you are in office or at home. So that's the really good thing, is that it's fast and easy access. Second is it provides you a 360-degree view of your business. Ultimately, it is driven by the data, but the result is as it's shown on the screen, where you can see a nice looking dashboard. Now this dashboard is actually connected, so you can drill down and find more information. And that comes to the next point, where you can, once you have the dashboard, then you can drill down and find and discover more answers to the picture. So it is showing some kind of story, but then you want to get to the truth, so you can drill down and find more information about that result. Then also it's connected to any devices. You have the apps coming on iPhone, iPad, Android, Windows Surface, tablets. So there are special apps on these devices so that you can get to your data quickly and securely. And then another thing is collaboration. So you can be creating reports, but many of the time when you create the reports, you want to make sure that right people also have access. So you will be able to share this report and the dashboard easily, and then give it to your colleagues and work collaboratively.
I think with whatever solution you go with, having access to a tablet, right, or something that's, say you want to wait, or you're a business owner and you wake up in the morning, instead of having to call Jim, John, Matt, and Sally to get the reports on finance, marketing, operations, imagine just having your tablet opening up your secure connection and seeing what happened the night before. Right? If you're running a restaurant, having to know what the sales are, inventory, how many receipts you got. Wow, having that ability just to see what's going on a real-time basis, as well as the forecast basis, I think is incredibly powerful. One of the most powerful tools I think ever really allowable to SMB and allowable to the market is business intelligence. Just seeing what's going on in your business. I think we're seeing CEOs just embracing this because instead of having to call in for a meeting every day to have all their executives put together their report and their summation of it, they just look at this rich visual format of graphs of what's going on, how many leads, how many sales, how many marketing dollars spent, extrapolate that against last year's and finding out what's going on. That's what I think is so powerful. Anywhere, anytime, in bed, when you wake up, when you go to sleep. I mean, it is just really, really interesting. And I'm sorry, once again, I interrupted you, Manish, but I'm just so excited about this. This is just really, really interesting.
No, actually, Sherman, I also wanted to iterate that many of the times, customers are spending way too much time every month, every week creating the reports. So they also want some solution which can be automated, but then it should be much better than what they have been doing, right? So they just don't want Excel to be automated, but something of a next step. So reports is just a very basic level, but then going to dashboard and pulling those Excel automatically to a dashboard and getting it refreshed every night, every hour, that kind of scenario customers are looking for. So they are happy to reduce their workload and automate this, and that way they are more current and they are saving money. So yes, initial investment is there, but then at the end it is gonna bring the productivity back and give you the ROI. So in order, just see this, right? So this is a dashboard which is actually live. So people are able to, I'm gonna refresh it again and show you. So as people are watching this, the data changes because the Power BI or the latest tools are actually cloud-based, and they have this mechanism to pull the data or monitor the data in real time. So it can track the data in real time, and then because it's real time, you can make the quick decisions right away. You can drill down and look into the reports. In addition, last point regarding PIN, new visualization, and KPIs. So everybody works differently. Your CFO may be working for some specific number. I mean, he tracks specific numbers. CXO tracks something. CEOs track something else. So they can create their own visualization very quickly. So that's another good one. And the next one is very important slide, which I always love, where you can ask questions. So you can see by typing the question, the result shows. So now there is no need of IT people, or there is no need of you to actually, let me redo this slide. So you can see that as you type the question, the result comes. And now the result is coming from the data which has been put into the dashboard. However, the latest tool is capable of understanding natural language query. Meaning, as you speak, you can ask questions. As long as data is there, it will provide you the answer. And also, you can type questions like, show me in pie chart. And then it will change the graph to pie chart. And then you can pin it or save it. And then use that kind of visualization for your day-to-day business, rather than somebody else creating the visualization and you following it.
So are you saying that we could theoretically put in what are the sales over the last 2 years? Just like literally like that question?
That is exactly what I'm saying.
Wow.
Is that instead of going through the Excel and looking for the sales number in last 2 years and making sense out of it and keeping it to yourself, right?
Wow.
You can actually ask the question, get a proper format, make the visualization changes, and save it Now you can refer to the same thing, and actually you can quickly share it with other members in your team also. So now you spent time analyzing few key information, but that information is not lost. That can be actually presented to everyone in the team, and they can just refresh it, and they will see the numbers every day or every time they refresh it. So that's another good thing. And then, as I said, the visualization is not limited to the charts, which Excel can do, but because this is a cloud tool, more and more visualizations are getting created. You can see there is a funnel chart, gauge chart, there is a map. So if you have address, it can directly create a map for you based on the data. So if you have regional data like Southern California, and this is showing UK data. So as long as you have your regional data, it will just zoom into that geographic location and start showing the data. So that allows you to make sense of your own data or the combination of your and external data very quickly. Another powerful thing, which we already talked, but I just wanted to show, that is about connecting from any devices, whether it's Android, whether it's iOS devices like iPad, iPhone, or Surface devices. Apps are available, and as long as you have the login credentials, you will be able to see the data. So it's very secure that only you can see, but at the same time, you are not restricted to your desktop or to the Excel, which has been password protected, and you need to type in password, but you can use all the latest tool like biometric way to log in to your Windows Hello devices, or use the thumbprint to log into iOS devices, all that. Just wanted to quickly cover that there are tools which will also allow you to do it local to the PCs or local to your environment, these visualization. So if you're not comfortable publishing to the cloud, there is something called Powerbi Desktop. You can actually keep it local data, you can visualize, you can do everything except when you want to share, you will have to publish to the cloud. So if you are not ready for cloud, then download the Powerbi Desktop, and then you can start seeing same kind of graphs and dashboard, but you don't have to publish. So
yeah, so let's that is really awesome. I think the interactive piece of it, and being able to for security concerns, right? There are security concerns, and understanding how you can keep it in house. The cloud is very secure as well. I think we're kind of getting away from the a lot of these situations where companies are being hacked in their cloud storage area, because it really comes down to password authentication, multi-factor authentication to secure your stuff. But internally, but the interactive reports I think is really neat, because you can see what's going on and how it all compares to each other. So why don't we just kind of quickly get into how the tools are creating value for owners of business intelligence, or people who are embracing business intelligence.
Yeah, Sherman, this is my favorite part, because now we have talked about the challenges, we have talked about what has been happening, but now I can show you, because there are tools, how quickly the small businesses or medium-sized businesses can get value out of the tool. So, because the tools are now cloud-based, and there are other very successful cloud products, Microsoft and other industry leaders are investing time to connect these cloud products for you. So there are already 3,000 connectors existing for Power BI. As you can see, SaaS is nothing but software as a service solutions. So there in the industry, you can see the leaders like SendGrid is a mail sending leader, Salesforce is a CRM leader, Dynamics CRM Online is right there with Salesforce. Then there is a Zendesk for ticketing system, Marketo and Dynamics Marketing is for your marketing. Now, these are all cloud products. They have their own environment, and the data is residing in their own data center. And as we talked, getting a 360-degree view out of this is a challenge. But with the Power BI kind of tool, there are existing connectors. So all you have to do is go to your Zendesk and put your user ID password, and within actually 2 minutes, the Power BI will have the dashboard running for you. And this will look pretty much like on the left it shows here, right? The dashboard. And then now one set of data is in the system. So Zendesk data is there. Now you can go to your send grid and pull your email data. You can go to your Dynamics marketing and pull your email and the marketing campaign data. And you can go to Salesforce and bring your CRM. Now 4 data from 4 different cloud providers are all in one place. Then you can go to the next and create dashboard quickly and query and present it to the colleagues. So another slide for you, because that was a simple slide, but this is like, wow, so many connectors, right? So in summary, all the Microsoft apps and the cloud products are already connected to Power BI. There are other industry leaders, like as I said, there are 3,000 of them. An example is Adobe QuickBooks. Now QuickBooks, of course, I use QuickBooks and a lot of small business use QuickBooks. So it's already connected, it's right here. All you do is go to QuickBooks Online and punch in your user ID password and it's connected. So that may be the best thing you do after the webinar, that you go and sign up for Power BI and connect your QuickBooks and you have the intelligence or the dashboard coming up. Other things are, if you already have the system running and they have SQL database, then you would go to the SQL connections, and you can also connect to Oracle and DB2. And in the cloud, when you go to Power BI, it will show you the list of other connectors. So you can just type in where you want to connect, and it will allow you to connect.
What I think is powerful about that slide, though, Manish, is the fact that that it's not just Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's really, we understand that you have Salesforce, or you have QuickBooks, or you have a lot of other programs, and you need to get the streaming data from them. So Microsoft is open now. We want to work with all these other providers. We're happy to work with them, happy to give them access. So it doesn't matter how your environment is currently set up. Chances are that there is a connector that you can bring the data in, congregate it, and then pull out a good report. I think that's something good to know.
And also, every week there are new connectors coming up. So if it is not existing, just wait and then it may be there. So start with existing data, and I have a slide for that. So I'll cover it. But let me just cover the visualization in a bit, in the sense, you don't have to come up with the new ideas of creating visualization. There may be the visualization already existing, which may inspire you to use. So you can browse the library. You have some data and you're looking for the ways to represent that data. There may be community, in the Power BI community, there are examples already listed. So have a look into that. And this is the slide I wanted to get to, is that if you don't have cloud products and you have Excel, that is the way to start. So the first one, which I'm showing here, is this, the data in the cloud. So here is your data, which could be in Excel, and this directly goes to the Power BI. In the bottom one, I'm showing more on the on-premise scenario, where the data is in SQL, or you are doing some combination of Excel or reporting services, and you also have Power BI desktop running. You're combining this data, and then you're presenting it to the cloud. So just having Excel is also fine. You can just go and start using Power BI and create a dashboard on that.
Yeah, I think there's 4 billion users using Excel, probably the widest used program Microsoft is out there, and we do know that 97% of all small to medium-sized businesses have Excel. I see a lot of companies still running on a lot of Excel spreadsheets. So yeah, I think it'd be a good idea, regardless of who you choose, to get that data somewhere to figure out if there's an insight inside of it that could help you, increase your sales or revenue or whatnot. So we covered a lot today. We covered the challenges. We covered the solutions to it. We covered what is the definition of Power BI and the evolution. of it. But I want to just kind of give it to, Manish, if, what are the afterthoughts, or do you have any afterthoughts, following this presentation, or what somebody should take away from it?
Yeah, I think definitely the main thing is the cloud products does provide you the easy get onto the business intelligence bandwagon kind of solution. So what we talked is mostly the data visualization. And I want to highlight that don't think that this is it, because what we have talked is just one part of the puzzle. And you can see the iceberg, and the tip of the iceberg is the visualization. However, that may require you to do a lot of groundwork, or that may require you to get help to make sure that you are trying to make the right decision, you're trying to visualize the right things, and you have the process to control the data. Otherwise, the data is telling you the wrong story, and you are taking wrong business decisions on the wrong data. So that's the one caution I would say, is that it's great. I mean, this can provide you right off the bat the tool to look at your data and make quick decisions, but then don't forget that you may have to look into the existing process and existing data to make sure it's solid, and then you use that to make intelligent business decisions.
Great. Manish, why don't you just, for the audience real quick, let's just go over, how to contact you. We absolutely believe in Manish and his understanding of Power BI and help setting you up. We just want to make it available for the audience here if they want to contact him. But Manish, just real quickly, your email, your phone number, you can go ahead and say that.
Yeah.
And then for the users here, or the attendees, we'll send out the PowerPoint so you'll actually have his bio for you. But Manish, I'll let you finish off this.
Sure. So as a business, we are focusing on improving business productivity for our clients. Sorry, I hit the slide. So ultimately, we are trying to improve productivity in two levels. One is collaboration, so having better collaboration for client, and second is on the data level. So having good use of their data and making sense out of it, making intelligent decisions. So these are the two areas we focus on. Any questions, let me know related to productivity improvement and related to business intelligence. My email ID is mb@adeptech.net, and the phone number 323-316-7354. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Manish. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on, and thank you to the audience for coming and learning about the power of business intelligence. We're so excited and delighted that you came today, and we want to thank everybody involved, including the MTC and the folks over at the SBA. But we also want to tell you about next month. It's going to be a powerful one. We're going to be going over cloud-based services. What is it and why do you care? And it really talks about mobility and talks about the ability to manage your devices, how to set up your business to reduce overall technology costs. It's really a great one. I think we actually have a question from, and let me go ahead and pass it one moment.
Yeah, Sherman, we do have a couple of questions that came in for you and for Manish, so okay. I thought maybe we'd try and get those answered here.
Sure.
The first one maybe for Manish: are there publicly available data sources I can use beyond my own business data for comparison, and can you suggest any?
Yes. So there is data already available with census or the city and the government. So there are a lot of data. It depends exactly what area you are looking into, because the geographic data is already available with the city. So if you are looking to map your services within a region or within a geographical area, then maybe that is the data you are looking for. Or from the Census Bureau, if you are trying to get the demographic data, then that's where you will look for. So maybe you can send me a question on that, and then we can be more specific on it. But yes, there is a lot of cloud data and the government data available. And at the same time, many of the private companies provide data for free, like VIN number checking, that kind of thing is also available. So you may have to be more specific on the question. But yes, there is data available.
Fantastic. A next question was, is there a correlation between business intelligence and data visualization?
Yes. So the data visualization is just a part of business intelligence. And as a whole, on the business intelligence, there are multiple things. And that involves making sure that you have single truth of the data. So that piece is called data extraction and transformation. So you normally want to keep one source, one single truth that will be in data warehouse. So creation of data warehouse or a single source is one step which you need to do before you can use that data to create visualization. So I would say there is a hidden story, like the slide we showed, that visualization is only 10 to 15% of the equation. There may be other things you may have to do if you want to combine multiple data sources together.
Fantastic. It looks like a couple of the other questions you may have answered already here. There was a question about using QuickBooks Online today, and is there an easy, fast way for a small business to get started? I think you answered that one already,
Yes,
unless you want to expound on that. And then a question about a solution from Microsoft. Did I hear you say that you can use this on an iPad or iPhone? Do I have to have a Windows device?
No. It's all, in fact, Microsoft is now thinking mobile first, cloud first. So you will see a lot of apps coming all at once on all the devices. So it's device agnostic now. Go ahead, use any kind of device.
Fantastic. And maybe one or both of you want to tackle this, the very last one. It says that you talked a lot about cloud solutions, about Office 365 and SaaS products. We're not there today. How do we get started?
You contact us. No, we'll help you out with that one. We do talk a lot about it, and we're agnostic, but we're happy to help you out with that. There is Manish's contact information on that. Manish does have experience with Office 365. It all kind of coalesces, and we want to be there, and we want to help our partners get into the right partners, the best partners, get in touch with the public, and part of this is kind of part of the bonus of this whole thing. So just contact Manish, and he'll help you out, or you can give me a call or send me an email, and I'd be happy to help you out. The SBA will have the link to this presentation very shortly. They'll have a link to the PowerPoint and a link to the actual recording for you to watch at a later date if you like. Just reiterate, thank you everyone once again for all that you do here. Thank you to the folks at the SBA, Adalberto, Christopher and Cherie and Eric Klaus here, one of my partners, and Manish and Kevin Pallas from the MTC, and Dean Suzuki. Thanks again, and really have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Have a great day. Bye-bye.